Hello and welcome to TG2 Cars and Stripes, a new show where two British blokes drive American cars in America. I'm Jack Ricks, and in this first episode, I've been driving an electric car that weighs over 4 tons.
And I'm Jethro Bovingdon, and I most definitely have not been driving an electric car. In fact, I got to destroy 20 sets of tyres in an estate car with an internal combustion engine producing over 860 horsepower. So very happy.
So yeah, we've been spending quite a lot of time in America, but I should point out that right now we're not in America. We're in North London in a place called Cricklewood, not to be confused with
Inglewood.
But yeah, this Subaru estate then, what is it?
Funny you should ask that. It's as I'm a family man, this is a family car designed for a guy called Travis Pastrana to get his family. No, it's not a family car. It's a car designed for Gymkhana. So basically you just tune around in it. And it's brilliant because you measure its efficiency, not in miles per gallon, but in tyres per second. Literally tyres per second.
TPS.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new measurement. Did you crash? Actually, don't answer that. Let's watch the film.
I don't crash. It's at that time I crashed that thing. Here at Top Gear, we believe that every day is a school day when you get in a car. We champion anticipation, smoothness, mechanical sympathy, and above all else, enjoying cars safely and responsibly. Today, I hope to sharpen all of those skills with a very special lesson we call Gymkhana. And here's my instructor, perfect timing, Mr. Pastrana, no less.
Travis Pastrana is a living legend and a solid gold lunatic. He cut his teeth in motocross, broke most of his bones too. Travis tried out 4 wheels at their X Games in 2003 with Subaru and has since won 4 Rally America titles, raced NASCAR, Rallycross and lots more besides. But his true love is Gymkhana, and he is the ultimate proponent of the art. His Gymkhana 2022 video with this Subaru Huckster has to be seen to be believed.
One thing that is very important before any driving lesson is being absolutely familiar with the machinery. So, Travis, this is your baby. Tell me about this car.
Well, this is a 1983 Subaru GL Wagon.
Well, it is, but it's not, is it?
Nope, it's got these awesome flaps so you can fly the car, so if it's nose down or nose up, and it also helps it slow down if you're into that kind of stuff.
Okay, so Travis drives the car, but he's not an engineer and he doesn't really care about anything underneath. I know there is some rally goodness under here, proper WRC chassis. The engine, do you know about that?
It's got a lot of power. It helps me get out of really bad situations.
Okay, 2.3 litres, boxer engine, 4-bar boost pressure, over 800 horsepower. And this is really cool. I'm bypassing Travis now. These roof rails feed the rear mounted radiators. So this thing has a lot of very trick tech, and you must know about the tires.
I do. I know that we have 36 sets of Yokohamas, so why are we still talking?
You are
more tire smoke. It's Gymkhana. Let's send it.
Okay, Travis, so this is where it begins for me, the journey to learn how to do Gymkhana. Why don't you tell me the very basics of how you even get going in this car, how the sequential box works?
So it's 860 horsepower if this guy turns us all the way up. So we'll see.
And it's a big turbo. Does the delivery feel, with the anti-lag and stuff, does it feel laggy, or it's always on?
With the anti-lag on this car, it's just always on.
That's awesome.
It is, as long as the RPMs are up, you'll feel you have to shift this a lot. The best description I can give of this 83 Geo wagon is it's a shifter cart. It's still a 4-cylinder, so you're going to be going through these gears just absolutely bonkers. Just ba da da da. Anyway, let's start this thing.
Okay.
That sounds so good. I'm used to electric right now, and this just music to my ears. Really.
Yeah, let's hope we never have to get fully used to electric.
All right, so we'll try a launch here. So the launch is pretty cool. You just basically hold this button down on top of it, pull it to you, and I think that's all you do. I kind of forget now. It's actually been a while since I've been in this, so thank you for coming out. That's it. So this will be a really good driver's challenge for you. Or actually, you know what I want to see you try? So coming down here, try go third gear. And you want to get, so at first you can kind of get as close to the inside as you can. And then eventually you come out here to the outside. Tires are about gone. So,
yes. Well, that was at least 45 seconds of driving. So.
Well, we've got a lot of power. What can we say? You want to do reverse entry, right?
The reverse entry is always the coolest looking thing. So if you can find a spot for that, I think that's brilliant.
Like here, we got plenty of room to mess this up. You know what? We'll come in from this side. And I'm going to do a reverse entry. Like we're actually going to spin it, turn left to go right. So like that's a full reverse there. So this will be your third challenge right here. So handbrake to get it going. And first gears, you can keep it pretty mellow. Now if you want to step it up, you go to second. Now second will be a lot more fun. Try to get as close to the grass as you can. So now we got a tire going down on the right. I think we're through another set of tires.
Okay, so for the transitions, you're not really using the handbrake. You're just using the momentum of the car to keep the angle from one to the other.
Yeah, so the handbrake works really well if you're coming in a straight line. So say you do the outside perimeter, and you come in straight, and you're under braking. It's basically if you're not Scandi flicking it. But as soon as this thing's sideways, the goal for all the Gymkhana stuff is get it as sideways as possible. And then with all-wheel drive, you just got to keep the front wheel pointing. So it's not like you're going to the lock. If you go to the lock and you get on the gas, this car will go wherever you point it. So I would very much recommend you don't point it outside and then step on the gas.
Okay, so we have set up a launch, the transitions, that really intricate, precise stuff, a big drift, getting as close to the grass as possible, and if I can get my head around it, a reverse entry. That's a lot to learn in a day.
That's it's ambitious. I'm not gonna lie, but I think I've seen you work. You got this.
Okay, first impressions. It's mental. I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's doing in theory, but the speed that thing can generate, it's so intense. You've got to be so on top of the car. You've got to be so committed on the way in. Travis loves this improvisation and he's immediately on it. For me, obviously it's not going to be like that. But yeah, so much to learn. The things we're going to do: big fast drift, third or fourth gear, proximity to the grass, let's pretend it's a wall, transitions, so flicking from full left slide to full right slide, as many of those as we can get together, a launch, which sounds easy, but the thing is so violently fast, and then finally the reverse entry, which I really want to do. It looks the hardest thing to do. It's awesome. This is fun. This is a good day out. This is a very good day at school.
So you were the first person that's sat in that seat other than myself. I think Connor Martell might have put a couple little laps around, but this is the first time we've had a passenger seat here. I'm a horrible passenger. This car has a lot of power. Have you driven a shifter cart?
No, I've never driven before, Travis. How does this work? What is this? What's this third pedal all about?
Oh God! Yeah, you're not afraid of manual? No, I've seen you drive. I know.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I just, like, it was awesome sitting next to you, and I saw the level of commitment, and I know that I'm not going to exhibit that level of commitment for many reasons, but I know I need to be positive with the car.
Just to let you know, err on the side of aggressive. This,
This is the Travis Pastrana philosophy on life.
It is, and it's also the best philosophy for this car. If you're not aggressive with it, it's not, nothing really works. So this vehicle, don't be afraid to get after it. Now think about this. I did 4 days of filming, then I broke my back, and then I did 2 more days of filming, and this car made it all the way through all the abuse, through all of the shenanigans, through all of the rev limiter and reverse entries and huge jumps. I'm not gonna say there's nothing you can do to hurt it, but
Oh God,
you know,
don't say that.
Skinny pedal to the floor, let's go.
Okay, I'm ready, let's do this.
Track is all yours, buddy. Might as well just send it right off the bat.
Okay, maybe I'll try that big one as a left-hander, a bit more natural. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. More NASCAR.
Second gear or third gear?
I go third. Great job. Look at you go. Now some full rally line right on the inside. Love it.
Okay, we'll do a circle.
All right, I'd go fourth. Let's try fourth.
Fourth?
Oh yeah, let's go. Go. Look at you. Okay, more gas. More tire smoke. It's Gymkhana. Let's send it. There you go. Get closer to the outside. Faster, 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 faster. Nice work. Good job.
Oh my God, that is fun.
Dude, you did phenomenal. That was great. So, man, that was perfect. You're just, man, you stepped right in. No issues at all. Now think about this. So that fourth, they would have me in fifth because they want to see more tire smoke, more rev limiter, everything that you're used to doing, everything that's normal, everything to save mechanical sympathy. Take that and throw it out. This is a Gymkhana car. It's built to just be on the limiter pin. I would recommend second gear because it gives you more range. You tighten here, so around both of these curbs. out here around both of these, and you gotta go wide so it pops up, but there's nothing in the grass, so even if you do hit the grass, no big deal. But that's the key, is to get as close to the grass as you can here, nice and wide, and then cut it back, and right as you get straight, then flick it back. And you remember, all-wheel drive, if you keep pointing where you're going, you're gonna have a good day. Don't mind the grass, it's a rally car.
Let's try again.
That's perfect. Oh, right on the edge. Great job. Flick it back hard. There you go. This is not gonna work. Oh, yeah, you got it. Yes! Transitions are beautiful. That is awesome. Dude, I like being over here. It's exhilarating.
Oh man, that's tough. That is tough, but it's awesome. Okay, so how do we do a reverse entry?
So, do you want to do what I did, where you go turn left to go right, or do you want to do turn right to go right?
I have no idea. You tell me what to do and I'll do it.
You slide around here all the way out to that grass, like all the way to the grass. Nice and wide, nice and wide. And then you're gonna, right here, you're gonna keep, and then you're gonna flick it back the other direction, that way, and it's gonna keep sliding this way. So you gotta stay in the gas pretty hard, and then you wanna aim going out this way. I think you got this, right?
I have no idea.
All right, you're up. Good luck. Okay, so when you come out here, it's gotta be, when you wanna go way out there and then flick hard left, like everything you got. So when you flick, you're not turning left, you're actually still coming this way. You got it. Flip hard. Nope. All right, so no handbrake. So you're not trying to go right to go left. And then flick hard left, but no handbrake. Just more throttle. And it'll just spin it that way. Yeah, you got this. Hard on the gas, go left. Gas. Look at you go! Yes! That felt Gymkhana. Yes! My man. That was full commitment. That was fantastic. How did that feel?
Oh, that felt awesome.
But it's weird to turn left to go right, right?
It's so strange. Like the physics in my brain don't make sense, but it worked. Okay, I'm happy. I'm gonna take a little break.
I think the tires might need a break too. That was fantastic.
That was awesome.
Dude, good work.
Thank you so much. That is so cool. Okay, my day with the Huckster is over. It was awesome. Best driving school I've ever been to. Mr. Pastrana, how did I do?
Well, I have to say, no one has ever called me a good instructor, but luckily with the Huckster, my only suggestion is, flat out, when in doubt, flat out, and you did absolutely phenomenal. I was very impressed. I hate sitting passenger, and honestly, your driving skill was here, and your commitment level was just under that, which I felt was...
The balance was right.
I felt safe. I know, I've never felt safe in the passenger seat.
Well, that's nice to hear. I like it.
I think it's a compliment.
For me, the big learning was A, how unbelievably quick the car is. B, the technique is like you say, any problem, bang,
Can be fixed with throttle.
Every time you think you're running wide or you're just going to leave the track or anything, is more power, which is quite the way to do it. I like it.
But I've seen a lot of people that aren't full-time all-wheel drive drivers. Like I was in that one corner, I was like, oh, you missed it. You came in way too hot, and you just stayed on the gas, and you didn't aim it. You kept it sliding and just got on the gas until that thing lit up, four-wheel drift, and you got it right around perfect. I thought that was a veteran
rally driver move. So very impressed.
Well, I'm happy with that. It was awesome. It's like the most violent form of ballet you can ever do. I am still a novice. Travis is the master. It's been awesome. Thank you very much. Can I have another go?
Dude, heck yeah, jump in, it's not my car.
Hell of a film, Jethro. Well done. Travis, a patient teacher?
Travis is a legend. I was so impressed. I thought he'd turn up, do 45 minutes, be like, right guys, I'm out of here. Actually, he turned up before anyone, before even the crew, who are normally there to build cameras from 6 a.m. And he stayed all day. He was patient. He got in the passenger seat, didn't really want to, but then he enjoyed it. He's just the embodiment of enjoying yourself in cars. So I was, I think I've got a man crush on Travis.
Yeah, it sounds like he just didn't want to leave you alone with the car, and you interpreted that as close personal attention.
Yeah, you might have just ruined my life.
Yeah. So you're probably wondering why we're standing next to the VW ID Buzz. Quick poll, Jethro, do you like this car or do you hate all EVs as a rule?
That is a rule I live by, yes.
Okay, glad we cleared that up. The reason it's here is a slightly clunky segue into our next film. This is, of course, an icon from the past that's been resurrected as an EV, and there is an American car that the same thing has happened to. Jethro?
The Hummer.
The new Hummer EV, that's right. And this is what happened when I drove one to Baghdad. This is the new Hummer EV. It's the size of a small planet and probably more powerful too. Get this 110,000 pound edition 1 version has 3 electric motors, 2 on the rear axle, 1 on the front, producing 1,000 horsepower and 1,200 pounds-feet of torque. So it will do 0 to 62 in 3 seconds flat, meaning it's basically as quick as a Ferrari 296 GTB off the line. And that's not even the scary bit. It's got a claimed range of 329 miles, which to be fair is fairly good, but only because it's got an absolutely massive battery pack, 205 kilowatt hours, or the equivalent of 6 Honda e-batteries, and it weighs, wait for it, around 4,100 kilograms, or the same as 9, yes 9, Caterham 170Rs. Which begs the question, what on earth is something this large, this heavy and this powerful like to drive on a twisting canyon road in California? Like this one. Not as hairy as you might think. I'm not going to lie, it is on the chunky side. You're always aware of this immense bulk around you. So driving this car does come with a certain weight of responsibility. The steering is pretty numb, but then there's not much slack in it either. The real star of the show though is the 4-wheel steering system, which means this car has a turning circle of just 10.9 meters, or in other words, it can turn around in pretty much the same space as a Tesla Model 3. This car and other top spec Hummers ride on air suspension, so the ride itself is really rather good actually, and it can jack the car right up for off-road work or lower it down, which makes things easier for getting in and out, or if you want to have marginally less terrible drag on the motorway. And then we get to the throttle response. I shall now demonstrate what happens when you prod the throttle. The nose rises up to the sky and it just leaps forward instantly, whatever speed you're doing. So, can it go around corners? Yes it can. There's actually much less body roll than you'd expect. I'll put that down to the fancy suspension and the fact that we've got this relatively low centre of gravity thanks to that enormous battery. The bigger question though is, am I enjoying myself? It certainly commands all of my attention, and it's such a novel experience driving this car that I suppose I am. Wasn't expecting that. Expect the unexpected, Jack, because we've got this Hummer EV for the next few days, which means a road trip. The plan is to head east, plotting a course to a place called Baghdad. No, not that Baghdad. This is a small town, middle of the Arizona desert, miles from anywhere, built around a copper mine. And to understand why we want to visit a fairly nondescript company town exclusively inhabited by workers from the mine that shares a name with the Iraqi capital, you need to understand the history of the Humvee. The story begins in 1983 with AM General winning a $1 billion contract from the Pentagon to produce 55,000 of its high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicles for the US military, and the Humvee, nicknamed Hummer, was born. By 1991, 72,000 had been produced and put to use in various conflicts, carrying troops, cargo and guns over inhospitable desert terrain. In 1992, sales of a road-going Hummer H1 began, thanks in part to the pestering of actor and protein shake enthusiast Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a success of sorts, but only sold in big numbers when GM bought the Hummer brand in 1999 and rolled out smaller and more affordable H2 and H3 models, peaking with over 70,000 units shifted in 2006. But by 2010, sales were stalling and the Hummer brand was pulled. And then in 2012, the military Hummer was deemed no longer feasible for combat. And then, the most extraordinary thing happened. It's literally Hummers as far as the eye can see. So I've just found out what this place actually is. I've been speaking to one of the guys over there, and it's an auction site. It's a company called Ritchie Brothers that buys up this ex-military equipment and then auctions it off every Wednesday. It's all online, and you could own one of these. I asked him how much they go for. He said somewhere between $5,000 and $40,000 US dollars, depending on the condition. But I don't think that's too bad to own one of these. A proper piece of US military history. Where were we? Oh yes, in 2012, the Hummer was dead on and off the battlefield, a dinosaur put out to pasture. Until now. With the electric era gathering pace, GM saw an opportunity to bring back Hummer under the GMC brand and reinvent it as an EV super truck. Yeah, with rivals like the Ford F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T already out there, it knew time was of the essence, so it turned on the afterburners and turned this truck from conception to production in a little over 2 years, which is just extraordinary. It's a record for any car that GM has ever produced. In terms of similarities with this thing and the original H1, well, they're pretty much the same size actually. Interestingly, the track widths are the same, but the reason the H1 had that track width was so it could follow a tank in its tracks. I don't think this car is going to have the same problem. Other than that, they couldn't be more different really. The H1 was designed purely for military service. This car was designed to be as silly as possible, as I'll now demonstrate. Right then, we found ourselves a very quiet canyon road, the perfect place to try the launch control function on this new Hummer EV. But it's not called launch control, it's called Watts to Freedom mode. And I'm told if I hit the traction control button twice, oh yes, my seat starts vibrating, all sorts of graphics are happening, the whole car lowers, and that's all happened. So it now says, keep your foot on the brake and then floor it. Floor it I shall. Whoa, that is, well, to be honest, it's the familiar sensation we've all got used to with EVs, isn't it? The blood goes to the back of your body, you get a slightly nauseous feeling in the pit of your stomach, but the difference here is you're doing it in something the size of a medium bungalow. It just feels totally bizarre, and the amount of momentum you gather in not a lot of time is just extraordinary. Okay, now remember earlier when I said this thing went from sketch to production in just 2 years, which is unbelievably fast? Well, apparently the team used the Apollo 11 moonshot program as their inspiration, and as a result, if you're a moon geek, you're gonna lose your mind when you see this interior. There are Sea of Tranquility grills on the door speakers, lunar surface patterns on the floor mats. The black, grey and gold interior colour scheme is inspired by the Apollo lunar roving vehicle, which, by the way, GM supplied wheels, suspension and motors for. Fact fans, even the graphics on the central 13.4-inch screen show the car barreling across the surface of the moon. Remember when American cars used to be built like Taiwanese water pistols? Yeah, not anymore. It's not a Bentley in here, but it's pretty well made. There's still a few little flimsy plastics and stuff, but the overall impression is of strength and solidity, and everything's square and upright and bluff and macho. Ugh. The coolest thing though is the graphics on this central screen. So if I toggle through the various driving modes, you're going to see some interesting things pop up here. So we'll start with normal mode, where you appear to be driving on the surface of the moon, and then my mode, where there's a series of drones flying around and lighting up your wheels for some reason. Oh, off-road. This looks like the surface of Mars. Elon will be pleased. Terrain mode, a particularly gnarly bit of the moon perhaps. Oh no, this might be a volcano actually. There's a bit of lava in the background. And finally, tow and haul, in which you appear to be towing along a space rocket. It's all good fun, isn't it? Right, how much battery we got? Oh, that's plenty. Lovely jubbly. Baghdad, here we come. Feeling flush with battery and some time to spare, we took a diversion past a spectacular bridge and a rocket with Snoopy sat on top. Because if you see a rocket with Snoopy sat on top, you have to take a picture. It's the law. And then we arrived at our destination to discover not a lot. So here we are then. We've just rolled into the centre of Baghdad in a Hummer, and all is well. There's not actually a lot going on here. There's a copper plaza over there, there's a copper bar and grill, there's a copper museum, except it's not open on a Monday. Oh yeah, and there's a massive open pit copper mine somewhere over that hill. Now I know what you're thinking, because we had the exact same thought. Wouldn't it be fun to hoon around in a 1,000 horsepower Hummer in an open pit mine? Well, we asked the company that owns it several times, and they told us to go away. Devastated. Since we had some time in our hands, we decided to see what Baghdad had to offer. Hello! Until I had a light bulb moment. The thing is, when you got a Hummer, you don't always have to take the beaten track. So I had a little scout on Google Maps, and it looks like there's a dirt road that cuts right across the desert, and it's totally legal and above board, I should add, and it should take us close enough to the mining pit to take a closer look. This, I quickly realised, was the perfect opportunity to demonstrate one of the Hummer's most unique features. Now, crab walk mode. Apparently, if I hit this button down here and hold it, then yes, a crab comes up on my screen, the car makes a noise, and I am now in crab walk mode. So now the rear tyres will move in the same direction as the front up to 10 degrees, which means if I put some lock on, we should move diagonally. Oh, that is bizarre. The car's pointing that way, but it's going sideways. Let's see if we can go this way. Oh, there's a little transition. I'm just zigzagging down the road. What wizardry is this? That must look crazy from outside. Yeah, can't really see how that would be overly useful, but it's a wonderful party trick nonetheless. Okay, so the whole Baghdad Hummer thing was really just a good excuse for a road trip and to tell you a bit of the history of the Humvee. But there's a reason we're so interested in this copper production too, because you see a massive EV like this one with its high voltage batteries and motors and wiring can have up to 120 kilograms of copper in it. A normal petrol or diesel car by comparison has about 20 or 30 kilograms. So you can see as EV production ramps right up, demand for copper is about to go through the roof. That's probably why they wouldn't let us in, isn't it? They're too busy making all this copper for cars like this. Hang on a minute. What's that? Our work here was done. With our pockets full of copper, there was still one more stop left on our all-American road trip to not such a small town. You might have heard of it. Vegas, baby! Love this place. So, why have we decided to end our trip here? Symbolism. The Hummer H1 was a car born out of military function, designed to patrol war zones, not high streets, which is why the road legal H1 was such a compromised lump. This new Hummer, however, comes from somewhere different.
This thing then is the Las Vegas of the electric car world. It's unnecessarily brash, it's glitzy, it's total overkill. I just don't see how you can justify something that weighs this much and uses this much raw material. But I'm torn. I'm torn because I spend my life championing cars that do things a bit differently, that have character. And so by my own rules, I should absolutely love this thing. And in many ways I do. I just don't want to be the person that actually owns one.
Jack Ricks, this is my disappointed face. You appear to like the Hummer EV.
Well, I wouldn't say I like it full stop. I don't want to like it. You know, I didn't choose this life. It's complicated, Jeffo.
It's not complicated, it's heinous. It weighs so much. The battery alone weighs 1,278 kilos, which, if my memory serves correctly, is the same as a Ford Focus RS Mark I in its entirety.
It is ridiculous. You can throw a million facts at me about this car, but the fact is, it's quite a lot of fun. And I know for a fact that you like a big, overpowered car yourself. So this is a big, overpowered car. What's not to like?
No.
No. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one and move on to what's coming up in episode 2, when both of us are going to be jumping around in the desert in a load of fast Fords.
Yeah, they're big and heavy too, but they're fun and they have real engines, so we're going to let them off. But until then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.